The year was 1914, Christmas Eve. Along the Western Front, the trenches cut deep into the frozen mud, filled with cold, fear, and longing. For months, young men had called these ditches home, surrounded by the relentless noise of war. But on this night, a strange quiet fell, a silence deeper than any explosion. Soldiers, huddled in their greatcoats, found the stillness unsettling, almost sacred. They gazed at the stars, the same ones shining over their distant homes. Thoughts turned to family, warmth, and the comforts of Christmas left behind. The promise of a short war had faded. Now, Christmas arrived with no end in sight. The war was no adventure, just survival in a brutal, grinding machine. On this silent night, the weight of homesickness pressed heavier than ever. Soldiers waited, expecting the usual terror, clutching rifles in the darkness. Every shadow seemed a threat, every sound a possible attack. Yet the silence held, minute after minute, hour after hour. It was a fragile, sacred pause in the world's greatest conflict. In that pause, something miraculous was about to begin. The men on both sides sensed it, an unspoken hope. The war, for a moment, seemed to hold its breath. The stillness was not just the absence of noise, but the presence of possibility. On this Christmas Eve, the world waited for a sign, and soon, that sign would come. To understand the miracle of Christmas 1914, you must understand the war. It began just 5 months earlier, with millions swept into battle by alliances and ambition. Young men marched off, believing they'd be home by Christmas. Instead, the war stalled in a line of trenches from Switzerland to the North Sea. The Western Front became a nightmare of mud, barbed wire, and death. Life in the trenches meant constant shelling, snipers, and disease. No Man's Land was a wasteland of craters and corpses. Rats and lice tormented the men. Hope faded with every passing day. By December, the war was a deadlock. Millions trapped in misery. Generals ordered attacks that gained only yards at staggering cost. The soldiers, once eager, now felt only exhaustion and disillusionment. They fought an enemy they'd never met, for reasons that seemed to vanish in the mud. This was the world before the first carol was sung. The trenches were not just a battlefield, but a prison. The miracle of Christmas would break through this darkness, if only for a moment, and it would begin with a song. The miracle began not with an order, but with a song. On Christmas Eve, a sound drifted across no man's land, singing. From the German lines, a lone voice sang, "Stille Nacht," silent night. Soon, others joined, their carol floating over the wire. British soldiers listened, stunned. This was not the enemy, but men remembering Christmas. When the German carol ended, a British voice answered with, "The First Noel." Applause echoed across the darkness, and more carols followed, back and forth. Then, small lights appeared along the German trenches, Christmas trees, candles flickering in the night. A German called out, "Tommy, you know shoot, we know shoot." For one night, the guns fell silent. Soldiers on both sides shouted greetings, shared jokes, and sang together. The spirit of Christmas, carried on a melody, was stronger than any order. Officers hesitated, unsure how to respond, but the men kept singing, their voices rising above the mud and fear. The war paused, holding its breath. In the darkness, hope flickered. The first step toward peace had been taken, not by generals, but by ordinary men. The miracle was underway. Christmas morning dawned cold and bright. Soldiers cautiously peered over the parapets, expecting danger, but saw peace. Signs appeared. "Merry Christmas. You no fight, we no fight." An unarmed German climbed into no man's land, hands raised. A British soldier joined him. Others followed, meeting in the middle. Enemies shook hands, looked into each other's eyes, and saw not monsters, but men. They exchanged photos of loved ones, realizing how much they shared. The truce spread along the line. Gifts of cigars, sausages, bully beef, and Christmas pudding. Uniform buttons were traded as souvenirs. Together, they buried the dead, holding joint services and reciting the 23rd Psalm. Then, famously, came football. Improvised games on frozen ground, laughter echoing where gunfire once ruled. For a few hours, they were not soldiers, but young men at play. The sound of joy replaced the noise of war. It was a day of peace, friendship, and football in the heart of conflict. The miracle was real, if only for a moment. The memory would last a lifetime. On this Christmas, humanity triumphed over hatred, the war paused, and hope was reborn. The world would never forget. Letters Home captured the wonder of the truce. Private Frederick Heath wrote of Christmas trees on German trenches and handshakes in no man's land. "We are having a truce," he told his family, describing shared cigarettes and souvenirs. On the German side, Lieutenant Kurt Zamisch marveled at singing carols with the British. "How strange, how wonderful," he wrote. English officers felt the same. Christmas brought enemies together as friends. They spoke of home, shared memories, and for a moment the war melted away. The truce was not everywhere, nor for everyone. Some, like a young German corporal named Adolf Hitler, were appalled, but most saw it as a glimpse of a better world. The truce was a series of local ceasefires, some brief, some lasting days. For those who took part, it was a memory of peace in a world at war. The letters remain, a testament to the power of shared humanity. The miracle was real, and it was deeply felt. The truce was not just British and German. French and Belgian soldiers also found moments of peace, though more rarely. Even a shared silence or carol could bridge the divide. Weeks before, Pope Benedict XV had pleaded for a Christmas truce, ignored by leaders, but answered by soldiers. Princess Mary sent gift boxes to every British soldier, a small link to home, often shared with new friends. The truce was not born in a vacuum, it grew from a deep longing for peace. Soldiers were not just cogs in a machine, but men with faith, memories, and hope. The miracle was a victory for the human spirit. It showed that peace could come from the ground up. The truce was a testament to ordinary people's power to defy war. For a moment, shared values mattered more than uniforms. The miracle of Christmas was theirs to claim. The High Command was furious when news of the truce spread. Generals saw it as a threat to discipline and quickly forbade any further fraternization. Orders were issued: no more friendly contact, or face severe punishment. The return to war was reluctant and somber. In many places, the truce ended quietly. Shots fired in the air, men retreating to their trenches. The first shots after the truce felt heavier, burdened with regret. The war machine resumed, more brutal than before. In later years, Christmas brought only bombardments, never again a truce. The memory of 1914 became a distant dream. The Christmas truce was unique, a light quickly extinguished by the masters of war. But for those who lived it, the memory endured. The miracle could not be erased. The truce was brief, but its impact was lasting. Soldiers carried the memory for the rest of their lives, a secret hope in their hearts. It proved that even in darkness, the human spirit could connect. The truce did not end the war, but it planted seeds of doubt and empathy. The enemy was no longer a monster, but a man with a family and a song. The story was suppressed, but Letters Home revealed the truth. The legend grew, a whispered tale of hope and defiance. The truce challenged the narrative of hatred and war. It remains a powerful anti-war symbol, reminding us that peace is possible. The men who laid down their arms showed the enduring power of compassion. Even in war, humanity can prevail. More than a century later, the Christmas truce inspires people worldwide. It's told in books, songs, and films, a story of ordinary men's courage and decency. The truce is a symbol of hope, challenging us to find common ground. It teaches that peace can begin with a simple gesture, a song, a handshake. Monuments stand in tribute, not just to remember, but to learn. The lesson endures. Our shared humanity is stronger than any weapon. The men of 1914 gave us a story more powerful than armies. Empathy and compassion can change the world. The miracle of Christmas in no man's land is a lesson we must never forget. Even in darkness, there is always hope for peace.